Bro, if she does this, she likes you. Heck, look, it's in. Ladies, let me know. Guys, pay attention. Let's go. Let's talk about her body language, all right? 1, if a girl likes you, she cannot look you in the eyes. Quick glimpse, looks away. 2, she will always be around you somehow. You will see her everywhere. And 3, no matter what the situation is, if she sees you, instantly smiling. She can't even hide how happy she is just to see you.
She was flirting with me and then her husband walked up and started.
Nigga, what?
Tonight, we will be talking about how modern men are supposed to react whenever a girl for the streets wants them. All right. This is when you have the girl that's been partying a lot. She's been going to the clubs. She's been having a good old time in her 20s. And then she gets to her 30s and she's smoking, drinking all the time. She done put on a little bit of weight. Her skin ain't looking good, but she still got a little bit of cuteness to her. That's pretty much when we say for the streets, that's what the type of woman we're talking about. You have a lot of women out here who have not beat their body up. Big shout out to Keandre, who has not beat their body up or beat their mentals up or put themselves through a lot of trauma. So I can't say that those girls are for the streets. Girls are for the streets are the girls that always ran with the boys, always stayed out at night doing bad things. They're pretty much like guys now. All right. But one thing about a lot of girls that are like this is they're sexy. All right. Even if they're dingy, they're sexy. And the reason why they're sexy is because, like The Weeknd says in one of his songs, they're dead inside. Your sexual desires like it because you think that maybe you could get you some good sex, some hot sex whenever you're bored. That's what really makes these type of women attractive. It's easy sex, which is how a guy can get caught up in it whenever he gets his life together. And that's the type of guy that I will be talking about today, is the Sigma male, because this is the Sigma Male podcast. So if you're watching this channel, that means you have your life together. All right. You're stoic. All right. You don't get emotionally upset with things. You're on a path. You're chasing your dreams every single day. That's what we promote over here, dream chasing. If you deal with a woman, you're not dealing with girls for the streets. All right. A Sigma male is pretty much a man who is focused on bettering himself and living out his dreams. All right. That's the type of guy that we represent here today. And today I'm going to be speaking on those guys who are just now becoming Sigma males, or just now getting their life together, or just now healing from previous relationships. And you may find yourself in a position where it's like, hey, I have a girl that's hitting on me that's kind of cute. Even though I know she for the streets, should I pursue it? Well, today we're going to be answering those questions, what you're supposed to do whenever a girl for the streets is trying to get with you. Now, the first thing you need to understand about a girl for the streets, when they are approaching a man, they do not approach alpha males. Why? They are not smart enough to approach alpha males. They're not smart enough to approach Sigma males. Matter of fact, Sigma males are probably the hardest to approach because we don't do too much talking for a woman to figure us out. Most women are still cautious speaking to us, so we rarely get approached with a woman trying to hit on us. But when we're talking about a girl for the streets, she's accustomed to guys. That's where her power is at. So she's gonna want to approach you. All right. And one thing that you must understand about women for the streets, if they are approaching you, they're not looking at you as a man. They're looking at you as bait. They're looking at you as food. They're looking at you as easy prey to help get their confidence back. All right. Now, where a lot of guys get caught up at with these type of women, you actually believe that you can change them. That's what it be. A lot of guys believe that they can change these type of women because these type of women are showing them attention. When in reality, she's running game. See, she'll lure you in. She'll act like she's submissive, like everything is good, but she still has an underlying goal that she's trying to achieve with you. You have to understand, girls for the streets are the biggest manipulators. They know how to play into what you want. Girls for the streets know how to fake it just for a little bit. But the manipulation is going to start with them when they start telling you all the guys before you were bad, her traumatized relationship, why she's looking to do good with her life. She don't deserve that. She got caught up. She's going to tell you a whole fleet of things, right? So in the future, you give her an excuse for lashing out. You give her an excuse for why guys are calling the phone. You're giving her an excuse to be moody all the time and unpredictable and hard to plan things with, and she become a headache. You start giving an excuse to all her actions because she told you all the guys before you were bad and she's traumatized from them. So whenever she does something off the wall, you're going to be the first one to say, oh, it's because of those guys. So one of the biggest mistakes that men make is thinking that you're going to eventually break her and change her into the woman that you want. Why? Because she's approaching you as if you already have the power, when in reality, the first thing that you need to understand is she views you as being weak. The only time a woman's gonna approach a man is when she think he's weak. You walk inside of a strip club right now, they gonna flirt with you, ain't they? You go walk down Skid Row downtown where all the girls are out there prostituting. They're not gonna be afraid to walk up to your car when you roll down the window, brother. All the slutty girls are not afraid of men. The good girls are afraid of men. That's what you have to understand. The good girls are so nervous from being rejected, they don't approach men at all. So one thing that you have to understand, if you have a girl for the streets approaching you, she sees you as being a weak man, which is why you really have to pay attention to it. Which is why when guys that are elevating up, they actually stay away from these type of women just so those type of girls don't try to flirt with them. Those type of girls don't try to hit on them. You ever been a nice, clean guy? And then you get around the trashy girl and she just want to flirt with you. You know what I'm saying? You got to learn to avoid that. It looks like an easy fling. It could be an easy something for you, but that easy something for you is going to snatch you in the end. So understand, the first thing you need to understand is if a girl for the streets, and when I say for the streets, I'm talking about the girl that smokes, the girl that drinks. At some point, you're going to be able to spot this immediately. You're going to see the dust around her lips. You're going to see the bags around her eyes. And you're going to see the dinginess to her skin to know that she ain't even eating right. That's going to all start to give it away. And if you're lucky, you'll smell her weave the closest you get to her. So understand, she's already dropping clues and you already know that she's for the streets. This does not apply to every woman. It only applies to the type of girl that I just described. All right. And a lot of guys, when you start getting your life together, you are going to attract a lot of these women. So today we're going to teach you how to handle it. All right. Next thing we're going to get into is when she's approaching you. One thing that you have to understand, what is already making you happy in life? What are you already doing with your life that's making you happy? So if you're already living a structured life, you're waking up at 7 o'clock in the morning, you're going to your work. When you get out for your job, you're going to the gym, or you may be going to the gym before you go to your job. But whatever you're doing right now, your life is going good and you have no stress in your life. So that's the first thing that most guys got to think about is, what exactly am I doing in my life right now that's keeping me happy? That I don't have to go to these girls who are problematic. Because you have to understand, the guy that loves the problematic girl is the guy who's problematic himself, stressed out about life. The more stressed out you are, the higher your sex drive goes, which is why you see so many broke people with more kids. They're stressed out and they're having sex. It's the same thing with everybody gets stressed out at home. You ain't got no girlfriend, you're stressed out with school. College kids, they jerk off a lot. Why? To get the dopamine release. So understand that most guys that are going to deal with this type of woman is because they're already not happy and stressed out in their life. And that's easy prey for him. The less money that you have, the more the girl for the streets is going to be attractive. I'm going to say it again. The less money that you have, the more attractive the girl for the streets is going to be, because she's easy prey for you. So as you as a Sigma male, If you're the guy that got his life together and your life is going good, when you come across these women, the first thing that you have to do is stop and look at what's going good in your life, because you can already see the deteriorations of what's going on with her. The only thing that she's going to be able to leverage is your sex drive. Understand that. And that's where a lot of guys get caught up at. You know your life is going good. That's how you gonna get your windshield busted out. That's how you gonna get your car scratched up, because she already sees you as being weak. So if you turn around and you start doing some player shit after she done already assumed you to being weak, my man, she's going to automatically try to destroy your life if you try to jump into player mode and do something with her. So you have to look at what's going on good in your life and not look at her as an option for sex. All right, I'm gonna tell you this. When you are established, you don't look at things the same way as on your grind up. When you're in your 30s, you don't look at women the same way that you're gonna look at in your 20s. In your 20s, when you just trying to figure out life and it come through and you come across these girls for the streets, they're gonna be okay for that age. When you still maybe smoking a little weed on the weekend, going out partying with your boys, they're going to be cute then. But when you start to get established and you get up in age and your priorities are set for you, you can't even take no risk of having this type of woman as a side chick, because she may be trying to trap you with a kid. You know how many side chicks out here have children and they don't care if the guy was married. They don't care what he had going on. They just wanted a little piece of something to connect with, because they realized a man really wasn't going to marry him. So she'll rather be a side chick to a married dude. So you have to understand, when these type of girls that are for the streets start to get with you, they looking at you as prey. But you have to understand one thing. They just coming to aim to suck the energy out of you. That's it. Never look at them as options for sex, because you may find yourself with a baby mama that you're going to hate. I'm going to say it again. And a lot of guys fall for this. There are so many good guys out here with good jobs that got a dusty baby mother. All right. Is my camera clear? All right, we're a little better now. They got a dusty baby moms. So that's one thing you got to watch out for. When getting your life together, when them girls start coming for you, you better start thinking about the snake in the garden with Eve. That's how it works. It's enticing through their desires. That's what you have to understand. All right. Next. And this is going to be the main thing that you have to understand. It gets easier to spot out the girl for the streets. That's simple. That's simple. You have the knowledge already. Utilize the knowledge that you guys have. Most guys already have the knowledge inside of your brain. Soon as you see it, you know that's going to be a bullseye. That's going to be an easy one. This is probably one I could take back. The longer you go without sex, the more you may try to entertain this. But use the knowledge that you have to spot the bad woman. Once you spot the bad woman, the goal is to avoid the bad woman. Why do you have to avoid the bad woman? Because her energy is contagious. It's very contagious. Like, if you stop and look at a lot of women, and I'm going to use the black community for this. If you stop and look at the black community, there's a lot of good black women out here. A lot of good black women out here that are unseen. You know that, and I know that if you're a black man. It's a lot. You have a lot of good black women in your family, a lot of them. But they're not noticed. And the reason why they're not noticed is because they pretend when they get around their dominant friends, or they get around their feminine friends. They try to pretend to be feminists for a little bit, and they may not even be feeling that way, just to impress their friends. So it's like with girls, they're the weaker vessel. When they see groups of girls doing things, all they're going to do is just tag along with the groups of girls. So if everybody's practicing feminism, then the women are going to practice feminism. What happens with women, and you're going to notice this in your life, women do not have lifelong friends. Guys will have friends for 10, 15 years. For a long time, men will have continuations of the same friends. Not with women. Women are always changing their friends up every 6 months, every year. And if you are in a relationship with a woman, you'll notice she's always changing her friends because women are not that loyal to each other. So what a lot of women have done is they've grouped up with these feminist women to feel empowered, went along with those ideologies, right? And then those girls have switched up and did things with their life and let these other girls abandon. So you have good girls that were practicing feminism years ago when they were with their young, aggressive girls. Now they're in their 30s. They're like, hold on, man. I'm not even friends with those girls no more, but I've picked up her ideology. And now I really don't want to live like this. I really want to be in a relationship, but I don't know how because I've been around these type of girls for so long. You have a lot of good girls that are just stuck in misery because they pretended to be feminists and they wasn't. So understand this, you're going to know how to spot that immediately. All right. Now, when you learn to spot these things out of women and you learn to spot that, that's where your power is at. Your power is knowing that you can have them, but waiting for the one that completes you. I'm going to say it again. Your power is knowing that you can have them, but you're waiting for the one that completes you. You're on the right path. All right. You're on the right path. But you got to get to the point where a lot of girls are going to like you. So if you got like the girl for the streets liking you, all right, that's just the beginning. You're going somewhere, but she still see you as a weak dude that's going somewhere. Understand, that's what she still sees you as, going somewhere. So you got to learn to, now I'm attracting business women, or now I'm attracting that. You got to keep grinding till you start attracting the right girl. Some guys get caught up with the thought bot. They get caught up with the girl for the streets and they end up being a baby daddy going through the ringer talking about, I'm only doing this for my kid, because you know she got multiple baby dads now. You may have been baby dad number 1 or you may be baby dad number 3. But after you realize you done made the mistake, you're going to try to say, I'm only taking care of my kid. You're going to get all the way down to that. Don't be that dude that got a kid with the girl that got 3 baby daddies and everybody's alternating when the kids are getting picked up. If you don't learn to walk away when you spot them, you'll end up as that dude. All right. Next thing you do whenever you come across these type of girls, you have to think about your old experiences, because the girl that's approaching you is acting the way that you want her to act, but you've already dated that type of girl before and you know that she didn't adjust. So you got to stop. And the first thing that you have to do is start looking at your old previous relationships. When you look at the old previous relationships, you'll say to yourself, I've already dated this type of girl before. What type of results did I get whenever I was dating this type of girl already? All right. Some of that stuff runs through your brain when guys start to think about it. It'll run through your brain for a little bit, but depending on how long you've been without sex will determine how you react to it. That's natural for a man to be that way. That's why you have to have control over your desires. Your desires would trump everything that I'm saying here if you do not have your desires correct. Your desires are supposed to be on point. Let me stop. Let's check the likes. All right, what we got in here? We got 172 people in here. We only got 97 likes and $4 on the chat revenue. Big shout out to Keandre. Let's go ahead and get those likes up and show me some love in the donations. Show me some love in the donations, or hit the like button, man. Let's get those up. All right. Always think about your old relationships. All right. Don't try to listen to her victimization either whenever she starts talking. Understand, a lot of these girls are going to victimize themselves. All right. Next thing you want to do, and this is very important, you're going to have to protect your energy, bro. You're going to have to protect your energy. Protecting your energy now is so hard because everyone's trying to snatch energy because they're not happy inside. So when you come across these girls for the streets, you have to understand they're not going to snatch your energy at first. They're going to try to figure out what it is they need to say to you to make you feel good for the moment. So a lot of girls for the streets, they're good at cracking jokes. They're good at being one of the boys. They're good at just sitting there playing regular. They're good at making you a friend and comfortable around them. That's one of the ways that they get you, is by blending in like they one of the guys. That can suck you up. Big Money Iceman, big shout outs, bro. Really appreciate it. They can really suck you in. So you have to learn to protect your energy. Once you get to a happy space in life, you have to isolate yourself from everyone else, but not isolate yourself from the world. Too many people isolate themselves from the world just to isolate themselves from bad people. They're pretty much running away from confrontation, or they're running away from things that can mess them up emotionally. You can't do that. Isolate yourself, but don't isolate yourself from the world. If you isolate yourself from the world, then you're going to lose all the game that you're learning right now, and you're going to lack at the experiences. When you start to lack at experiences of life, then you don't know how to create new goals in life to achieve those, and you'll find yourself sitting in the same spot. All right. So when it comes to you being hurt, previous relationships, and you trying to protect your energy, don't run away from confrontation. Don't run away from the world. You still want to be out doing your thing. And I know a lot of you are introverts, but a lot of you have to get out and get into the real world, because if you isolate yourself from the world, you now are losing your life. Like, you have to stop and think, what is it that you plan on doing for the rest of your life until the day you die? Do you think, hey, let me just come online every day, watch reaction videos, watch my favorite content creator? Do you plan on doing that for the rest of your life? Because if you're afraid of confrontation in life, then that's what you've chosen to do for the rest of your life. Or is this just killing time for now? You really have big plans, and one day you're going to get up and achieve them. No. So don't isolate yourself from the world. You'll find yourself living in a delusional world, coming online every day, not going anywhere in life, and realizing you plan on doing this for the rest of your life. Like, Anthony Spade's not going to be making these videos for the rest of his life. So don't isolate yourself. When you need to protect your energy, you need to learn more. What do I mean? When it comes to these bad girls, if you've dealt with one before, you need to avoid her at all costs. But if you've never dealt with a girl for the streets, and you have a girl for the streets dealing with you, you need to deal with her. You need to know how she walks. You need to know how she talks. You may need to go on a date with her. You may need to sleep with her. You may need to be around her, because you need to study her. You need to understand her. So when you see her in the future, you'll know how to react to her. It's life experiences. So understand this. The only time you want to deal with a girl for the streets is if you've never been with the girl for the streets. But if you've been with the girl for the streets, then you need to follow all the rules that I've already set up until this point. Ross Peru, he says, but this man a beer or a dino. A beer or a dino. Big shout outs, bro. Thanks, my man, for the $2. So the only time I'm going to tell you to deal with a thought box or a girl for the streets is if you have never dealt with her before, because you need to know how she moves. You need to know how she grooves. You need to learn that. You don't go into a girl like this thinking that you and her are going to have kids and y'all going to get married. No, you're just there for the ride. You're there to study her actions. All right. So that's the only time I'm going to tell you to do this, because it's going to make you stronger in the future. I remember when I had mentored this little white dude. All right. Now we're talking real life. I took him right to the crack of the ghetto. Let him look at a crackhead right in his eye. Showed him what weed smell like. Show him what it's like to be in a crack house, and show him what people out here living. Told him this reality. This is stuff your mom and dad ain't gonna show you, but this is where you'll end up at when you depressed and you're low on life and you get on drugs. This is where you gonna end up at. Sometimes you gotta be there to see it. You got to sit next to her. You got to see how she moves. You may need to have a stripper friend that you don't sleep with, but you just sit on the outside and listen to all her game from a realistic point of view. A lot of you guys have been the other guy, but you've been the guy that's like, all right, I know she dealing with bad dude. Why she dealing with that dude? I'll treat her good, man. She should love me. I'll treat her good, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? You've been in that boat before, but now see what it's like to be in the boat, but in control of the boat. where all you're doing is just studying her actions. That's a different ball game. Big shout outs to Omar with the $4.99. Really appreciate it, my dude. You need to do that. You have to get that underneath your belt. It's the same thing with a good guy. Good guys need to be around good women too, and bad women, in order for you to stay balanced with women. When you start giving it a one size fit all, it is over for you. You cannot give a one size fit all. You have to be able to adapt to each different type of woman that walks into your life. And I tell you this all the time. It ain't just adapting to women. You have to adapt to life. You have to adapt to business. You have to adapt to different things in life. Life is all about adaptation. Species who fail to adapt will go extinct. I'm going to say it again. Species who fail to adapt will go extinct. If you cannot adjust your life, you would slowly but surely die off, right? You have to understand that you have to give yourself purpose to live. And one of the purposes in life is going to be adaptation. Those who fail to adapt will go extinct. Don't run to the internet to hide from life so you don't get hurt. Because if you do that, you're on the internet now and you're planning on doing what on the internet for the rest of your life? Some of you guys are 25, 30 years old. You plan on just flickering the phone, watching TikTok videos and Instagram every day in that rotation for the rest of your life? No. Give yourself meaning. Learn to adapt to the things in life, and adapting to women will come as a breeze. All right. Next thing that you want to do, it's never, ever, 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 ever in your life. This goes back to the first one. Think that you can change who she is. And I think that that's where most guys make the biggest mistake. You think the guys before you didn't know what you knew. The guys before you were bad. Maybe she needs some guidance. You always think that your action towards her in a nice way can change the vibe that she's giving you. This is where guys get caught up at. Why? Because the worst women in the world are going to walk into your life with a smile on her face. I'm going to say it again. The worst women in the world are going to walk into your life with a smile on your face. That leads you under the impression to get comfortable around them, especially if you was a guy that's been rejected before. If you've been rejected by women, the first woman that comes around you smiling and agreeing with you is what you're going to go along with. Why do you think there's so many female content creators that can come into this space with a smile, tell you what you want to hear, and then all of a sudden you taking over? You're inside of a cult matrix all over again. It's fairly easy, bro. You got to look past that. Always understand, when they're comfortable walking and talking to you, they want something. You walk into a strip club, they're smiling for a reason. The next guy they gonna smile at. You go eat at a restaurant, the host is smiling for a reason. Why? There's something they need you to do. So understand, most girls that are gonna be the good girls, that are gonna be worth it, they're not gonna be doing too much smiling when they approach you. It's not going to be that easy for you. And it's not going to be hard. It's going to be mutual. All right. So understand, accept the red flags. Do not think you're going to stop her from smoking cigarettes. That ain't going to work. You're going to stop her from hanging out with her friends. That ain't going to work. If she still got friends that she's going out with, leave it alone. You're not going to break a cycle of a grown woman who's been doing this for 21 days and past and years. You can't. If them lips look like she done had a rough childhood, you have to get away from it. You have to understand, it's not meant for women to go through tragic situations. It's not. It affects them for the rest of their life. You take a child who's been kidnapped and put in trafficking, that child would never think the same again when they come out of there. You take somebody who's been AR'd, they're not going to think the same again. You take somebody who's been touched as a little kid, they're not going to think the same again. So you have to understand that when it comes to a person's thinking, you're never going to be able to change that. When you start looking at the flags of a woman, take those flags to heed. Pay attention to those flags. Live those flags. You know what I'm saying? Start to look at them And then you start to play the game with the flags. See, you ain't always got to get hurt. You can be in control the whole time. When you're dealing with a girl that's for the streets, it's easy to capture her mind psychologically if you're stoic. If you're combative as a man, you're going to lose, because combativeness is emotionalist. It's an emotional man to a woman. A smart ass is an emotional man to a woman. The guys that try to overexert their intelligence onto women, or try to appear smart, or try to appear, oh, I'm an entrepreneur-ish to a woman, you don't look good to a woman. You look weak to her. So understand that when it comes to a woman, if you want to change her, you must stay stoic. You must know. You must know in your brain, this isn't the right woman. That's the right woman. That's this type of woman. That's that type of woman. You have to understand this stuff extremely fast, because when you think you can change them, then you start to think every girl is the same. Every girl ain't the same. Every girl got 5 personalities within herself because of the way her hormones are. You're talking about a creature that gives birth to life. So they're going to operate totally different than a man. All right. The only way to change is her changing to adjust to you. She can only change and adjust to you whenever you're going somewhere, but after she's been taught how to do it as well. You want to start off with the father. Chances are, if she's for the streets, there's no father in her life. If there's no father in her life, I'm sorry, but you got to leave that alone. That's going to be trouble, because she's going to be psychologically chasing something out of life that's never going to be fulfilling. And typically, good guys get caught up in these relationships and they get hurt brutally bad. There are so many women that are waking up who wasn't guided as a woman. They're waking up and they're looking at guys they've been in a relationship with, and they're saying, I don't even like this man anymore. I don't even want to be with him anymore. How do I get out of this relationship? All because her moods decided to change. You can't overlook her actions at the beginning. You can't overlook those red flags. Those red flags are signs that men have to follow. All right. And that is today's lecture, how men must react to women that's for the streets that want them.